What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Edgar. In this video, we're going to be talking about how to kill your ego, but why? Well, ego is a success killer. It prevents you from reaching your goals and achieving your dreams because it creates a distorted self-image. It leads you to overestimate your own abilities and blocks you from seeing areas of opportunity and growth. It can lead to entitlement. It makes you believe that you are skilled and deserving of something you haven't worked enough for. It can make you believe that the world owes you something. Ryan Holiday said, "The moment you think that you are owed something, that you're the only one who can offer value, you've lost." That quote is from Ryan's book, Ego is the Enemy, which sort of inspired this video, so I'm going to leave that in the description if anybody wants to check it out. Ego can also prevent you from learning. An overinflated ego makes you believe that you already know enough, which 9 times out of 10 is false. Epictetus said, "It's impossible to learn that which you think you already know." Finally, ego can make you overly self-reliant. Ego will convince you that you don't need help, that you're good enough to do it all on your own, so you shouldn't collaborate with others or look to others for advice. American author and businessman Ken Blanchard said, "Feedback is the breakfast of champions, but our ego can turn it into a bitter pill to swallow." To put it bluntly, having an overinflated ego is a shit show. So if you have big goals you're striving to accomplish, then it's better to kill that ego now. And here are 4 simple ways you can do it. Number 1, spend as little time as possible on social media. Social media is purpose-built to be an ego-feeding machine. You spend all of your time selecting your perfect photos and editing them to create this highlight reel, this perfect page. And when it goes so far that this is what you look at all the time, you can start to believe that that's actually a real portrayal of your life, which leads into this false ego-fueled idea of who you are. So naturally, the way to combat this is by spending less time on social media. And this is hard because social media is designed to be addictive. I mean, they want you to spend as much time on the app as possible. They want to keep you there and keep you scrolling. So what I recommend is to use some sort of screen time limiting app. I use an app called ScreenZen, which is 100% free, and it lets you create a number of different time limits for various apps, and you can put them all in the same app. You can create time limits. You can set sort of a timer, like a countdown, that you'll have to wait for every time you want to open the app, which that in and of itself can prevent you from wanting to open it, because then you got to wait 10, 15, 20, 30 seconds, whatever you want to set it up. I highly recommend checking out the app. I'll put a link in the description for it. It's not sponsored. It's just something that I use, and it's pretty dope, so check it out. But ScreenZen, if you're watching this, I could use a sponsor. Okay, number 2, spend time with people smarter than you. There are very few things in this world that are more humbling than spending time with people who are genuinely smarter than you and genuinely more experienced than you. It goes to show you how much more you have to learn, which is not only humbling, but it can also be sort of inspirational because it pushes you to become a better version of yourself so that you can be like the people that are obviously better than you. Having a mentor is a great way to go about this because not only do they teach you things, but they also provide you someone close up that you can aspire to be like. So I recommend everybody to reach out to a successful person you know and ask them to, spend some time teaching you things, to give you some advice about life. It doesn't even have to be someone who's like this wise old sage. It can just be someone who's a few steps ahead of you that has done something that you admire. Reach out to them. Now, I understand that not everybody has access to these type of people, so if that's you, then just read some books. Expose yourself to new ideas, new topics, things that you might not understand right away. At the very least, you'll learn some new words that you'll have to look up. I also highly recommend documentaries if you're more of a visual and auditory person, because, I guess you're kind of watching TV if you're into that, and then you're also learning in the process, so that's a good alternative. Essentially, the point of this one is that there's always more to learn, and you should always strive to learn more. Simple as that. All right, number 3, experience things that are bigger than you. Now, what does this mean? Regularly help others, participate in charity events, volunteer at your local humane society. Just do things where you are not the main focus. This doesn't have to be anything crazy. It can be as simple as helping out a friend, helping them move, helping your sibling with homework. Just do something where you have to go beyond yourself for the betterment of other people. Another thing you can do, which is probably easier for a lot of people because we're all just so self-centered, is to get outdoors, explore nature. When you come into direct contact with massive things like the stars and mountains, or even like monuments, things that are longer lasting than us and arguably more important in the long run, it really puts into perspective just how insignificant our lives can be in the grand scheme of things, in terms of the whole universe, in terms of the earth. Now, I'm not saying your life doesn't matter, because your life is very, very important, and you should always try to, find meaning in your life and do something meaningful with your life. But what I mean is that after we die, the stars will still be there, the mountains will still be there. Like, they're gonna outlive us, and people even beyond our generation will experience those as well. I think that's pretty humbling, and if I had an ego before, after thinking about that, not so much. All right, number 4, play your role. In any season of your life, you have to know what role you're meant to be playing, and you have to stick with that role. Don't try to jump ahead. Don't try to be something you're not. Commit to the role you're in for the time being and do it well. Let's talk NBA for a second. So in the NBA, there's this player named Alex Caruso who coincidentally started off as the G Leaguer and moved into the NBA, which is pretty rare. In an interview recently, he was asked that as someone who made it out, why does he think that some people get stuck in the G League for so long? His response was, a big reason guys get stuck in the G League is because they don't realize the position they're trying out for. It's like going to a job interview thinking you're going to be the CFO of the company, and they're looking for someone to clean the bathrooms. Now, this isn't to say that you need to settle for where you are, because there's always room for improvement. There's always room to grow and expand into a better version of yourself. But sometimes, in order to get there, you need to be willing to play the role that you're currently meant to be in and do it to the best of your ability. Sometimes, to become the CEO of a company, you have to start out as a janitor. Sometimes. Another example, Justin Welsh. Justin Welsh has been the most successful LinkedIn creator in the world for the last several years now. This was one of his recent posts. I'll never disrupt an industry, build the next $1 billion unicorn, or be featured on some Forbes list. But I'll spend my time doing things I enjoy and doing very little of what I don't like. Y'all, you don't understand how much I like this quote. Like, you don't understand. He fully understands that he's not creating the next Apple or Amazon or Facebook for that matter. He sells courses on how to become a LinkedIn creator. Now, however you may feel about people who sell courses, he knows that what he's doing is what he's meant to be doing. He's making more than enough money to support himself, and he's able to focus on only the things he wants to do. Is he the richest man alive? No, but that's a fucking win if I've ever seen one. Now, with those 4 tips, you have all the tools you need to kill your ego, but admittedly, this is difficult to do. Not because killing your ego is hard, but because in order to do so, you have to be willing to accept that you have an overinflated ego in the first place. You have to be willing to admit that you're not as good as you think and that you can't do it all by yourself. You have to admit that you have a long way to go. And that's what the ego has trouble with. Once you can admit that, the rest kind of plays itself out. The ego can be discarded. What's left over is both the humility and confidence to achieve our goals. We learn what we lack, we ask for help when needed, we admit when we're stuck. Or as Ryan Holiday puts it, when we remove ego, we're left with what is real. What replaces ego is humility, yes, but rock hard humility and confidence. And with that, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And check out this video next, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.